Hello and welcome back to Ballboy Media. In this episode, we're going to be discussing 3 trades that have just went down in the NBA, all trades with something to do with them in terms of financials and other asset movement. If you're new here, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And comment down below one trade you'd like to see at this year's NBA trade deadline. Our first trade is Daniel Theis getting traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. In this deal, the Thunder received Daniel Theis as well as New Orleans' 2031 second-round pick. The Pelicans received cash considerations or just nothing in this deal. This was a move to get New Orleans under the luxury tax, and I think that the Thunder, in return, picked up a pretty solid center in Daniel Theis. Theis is a solid backup big for most of his career, and he's averaging 4.3 points and 4.3 rebounds this season with the Pelicans. He has played in 411 career games and some playoff games, so no doubt about his experience, and he averages 7.1 points per game for his career. This is his 7th team in 7 seasons, and we've seen him be good in certain spots, and I think he can definitely make an impact as a bench big for the Thunder. And this is big for New Orleans because they get below the luxury tax in this deal. They were about $1 million over, but after this deal, they have dumped Daniel Theis's $2.1 million expiring contract, which does put them under the tax and saves them some good money. The second deal is KJ Martin, who was traded to the Pistons. In this deal, the Pistons got Martin as well as 2 second-round picks. Shout out Keith Pompey for reporting this. And the 76ers in this deal received similar to what the Pelicans receive. I just said financial freedom. They are getting rid of KJ Martin's salary, which is roughly $8 million. This contract is also for next season, so he's due $16 million roughly over the next 2 seasons. And I think Martin is an interesting player, and I think that he can definitely make an impact on the Pistons. Martin averages 20 minutes per game this season, and he's averaging 6.4 points per game and 3 rebounds per game while shooting 61.6% from the field. Obviously, we know Martin has the pedigree with his father being the first overall pick in the NBA draft in 2000, and Martin himself is not a player to just frown on. This, I believe, is a good player, and I think with the Pistons he can make an impact as they look to make a push. The Detroit Pistons made this move with their remaining free agent space, with their salary cap space. The 2 second-round picks that the Pistons are receiving in this deal are a 2027 second-round pick from Milwaukee and a 2031 second-round pick from Dallas. And our final trade of the early afternoon so far is Jaden Springer, who has been traded to the Houston Rockets. We know the Celtics are looking to contend, and as this deal suggests, they are looking to cut costs while doing so. The Celtics received a highly protected second-round pick, whereas they sent a highly protected second-round pick and an additional pick to the Rockets alongside Springer. I think that Springer can play an interesting role for the Rockets in small minute samples per game. We saw him get increased minutes against the Clippers not too long ago with the Celtics, a game in which they won largely due to his 8 points and 4 steals. Springer is only 22 years old and has averaged 16.8 points per game in the G League so far and could potentially be an interesting bench piece on a defense that is already very formidable. We're going to be talking about a new trade that has happened this morning in the NBA. I already made a quick video on it. I suggest going and watching that if you want a quicker video. The Milwaukee Bucks have traded Khris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, and a pick swap to the Washington Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin, and another draft pick. This is really the end of an era in Milwaukee. We know Giannis and Dame are still there, but Khris Middleton was really the second fiddle to Giannis for most of those early years in the late 2010s and early 2020s. They won the championship in 2021, in which Khris Middleton was a very focal point in that series. He averaged 24 points per game per the 6 games, and he had 40 points in a crucial Game 4 win, which tied the series at 2 games apiece with the Phoenix Suns. They eventually would go on to win, and Middleton will be remembered for Milwaukee fans forever. He was a 3-time All-Star with the Bucks, averaged 17.1 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, and 4.1 assists per game with the franchise. As it says, he has been with the Bucks since 2013, and that means he ranks pretty highly amongst some all-time ranks. He is first in all Bucks in three-pointers made. He is second in minutes in games, and is third in points and assists, and 7th in rebounds. Khris Middleton will certainly be missed in Milwaukee. In terms of what Milwaukee is getting back in this deal for a beloved franchise icon, they are getting Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and a second-round pick. Kuzma has been a mainstay in the league since he entered with the Lakers in the late first round. Earlier, a couple of years back, he is on a 4-year deal in the second year, so he has 2 years left after this one, making roughly $23.5 million this year, and then the deal descends in monetary value. In terms of this year, he has had a down year. Now, in his first 3 years with the Wizards, he averaged 20.2 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, and 3.8 assists per game. And what's most important is he was shooting 46 from the field, 34 from beyond the arc, and 74% from the free throw line. This season, his averages have all dipped. He's shooting only 42% from the field, 28% from 3, and a measly 60% from the free throw line. Kuzma has had a rough season, as have the Washington Wizards, who have the worst record in the entire NBA. Now they are trading him to the Bucks, where he hopes to rekindle a flame that he saw previously in his Wizards tenure. Milwaukee is out of the second apron with this deal, and they're also receiving a guy that may fit better potentially than Middleton has, who has been dealing with injuries over the past few seasons. They're also getting Patrick Baldwin, who was a first-round pick of the Warriors several seasons ago. In terms of what Washington is getting in this deal, they're picking up Khris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, and a 2028 pick swap, which has a very complicated nature to it, and it is unlikely, it seems, that it will convey. However, it just might. Middleton, as I said, he's only played 23 games this season. It's been an up and down ride for him, and he was moved to the bench a little while ago for the Bucks. Now he finds a new home in Washington, where I'm not quite certain what the length of his career looks like moving forward. I have no doubt in my mind that he wants to continue playing basketball, but in terms of if his body allows it, I'm just not certain at this point. 12.6 points per game this season is his lowest in a decade. His knees have just kind of deteriorated, and it's sad to see. But you know what? He's had a good career, 10-plus seasons, and multi-time All-Star, most importantly, a champion. Middleton could rekindle his career in Washington, though. Maybe this is a different stage of his career, where maybe he accepts his player option next year and then moves on to a cheaper deal after that. He does have a $31.7 million salary this year, and then a player option for $34 million in the season after. They also receive A.J. Johnson, the Wizards do, in this deal. A.J. Johnson was the Bucks' first-round pick this year. He was the 23rd pick, and he's averaging 13.4 points per game in the G League this season. Definitely an intriguing prospect and an intriguing package all around for the league-worst Wizards. Thank you for tuning in today. As I have said before, we are going to be locked into the NBA trade deadline. Make sure to stay tuned, leave a like, and subscribe, and comment down below one trade you'd like to see at the NBA trade deadline. For me, it's Robert Williams getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, who we just saw get Luka Doncic. Thank you, and I will see you soon.